What is happening, everybody? I hope you've had a good...
Back in like 2005, something like that.
I think my first con was so good. It's Friday Junior.
It's Friday Junior, it's podcast day, it's payday.
And if you come out doing a like, doesn't matter how you feel about the situation.
My name is Raff, and always before we start the podcast, because we just want to talk about it. We want to talk about music and just share those stories and experience. This is my co-host, Carl, aka the BeerBuddy. He is hailing you.
This sort of weird era where they're sort of right in that post-grunge.
Look, you're fighting the good fight in today's world. My war was fought 40 years ago, really.
We are the two dudes who talk music, and we are here. Hey, I'm too quick on that air horn button, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, that is amazing. I love it. You're second on the dude. Fantastic.
How you going, all you amazing folk? I am the Reverend Raff. This is my good buddy Kyle, aka the BeerBuddy. We are the two dudes who talk music, and we are here today, back on our YouTube channel with another podcast episode for you. But before we dive into that, if you enjoy your time with us today, it'd mean a lot if you could hit that subscribe button down there. We are trying to build the channel, grow our audience and all of that good stuff. So, if you have a good time, if you could hit the buttons that make YouTube happy, that'd be awesome. We have podcast episodes every Thursday, along with some ancillary content from that in the form of Get in the Bin and the Quick Question Quarter, which comes out now on Fridays and Saturdays as their own little videos, in case you've been wondering where they've gone. We also have the reaction videos that we're dropping every Monday and Friday. Sometimes on Wednesdays if there's a lot of stuff coming out. But Tuesdays, kind of a free day, as you saw with our interview with Francesco from Flesh God Apocalypse a little while ago.
That was so cool. And
the review that we did of the new Emorium album, random Thursdays. Tuesdays is kind of a random day, whatever. Stuff just kind of comes out as it comes out there. But we are continuing our coverage of Metal to the Max. We have this whole series of episodes going on about that right now. Metal to the Max is a heavy metal festival taking place across multiple days at the Mad Max 2 compound out near Broken Hill in New South Wales. Yeah. It is going to feature 30 of some of the best metal bands that Australia has to offer at the moment, and the environment is just wild. It's going to be a hell of a time. So we're continuing that series today. Links and all the other information is down in the description for that. Mate, how you doing?
Dude, it's all been happening. The reactions are going gangbusters. Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Aside probably the rest of the world crumbling down fucking out there. I'm not really worried fucking about that at the moment because everything in my spatial bubble at the moment is fucking reasonably good.
Yeah, how about yourself? We're doing okay. Yeah, look, I'm good, man. I'm good. At time of recording, we're just... went out to catch Mammal on their Brisbane show last night, as you can see from the fit as well. A nice, cool shirt there.
Man.
Oh, hell of a band. Like, I'm still devo that I wasn't put onto these guys earlier, to be honest with you. Like, and the funny bit, and I'm not blaming anyone, but every other person seems to know them. Every other person's like, oh yeah, I know Mammal, I know Ezekiel. Yeah, they're amazing. They're great. I'm like, why did nobody tell me? Because I could have done with that knowledge a long time ago.
Yeah, I would have liked to have been his friend as well, instead of just meeting him. He's a cool dude.
But yes, I kid. I'm not actually mad. Well, a little bit, but
Yeah.
But got out to see them at the Bright Side at Brisbane. First time going to the Bright Side as well. I hadn't been out there before. Oh, good venue. It was packed. It was so packed.
That's what you want.
That show was sold out, could not move. Like, for love nor money, it was so bloody tightly packed in there. Amazing, really nice setup. It's got kind of the stage and then like a floor bit, and then there's some stairs that go up to like where the bar is, and it's got kind of some not balconies, but like some kind of raised platforms at the side to make viewing a bit easier there. So
it's kind of like a snake pit where everyone sort of like the old Red Room in Sydney, where everybody, the hi-fi, where everyone sort of dropped into that middle part. You had the bars around the outside.
Kind of. It's not like balconies in that it's over the other space. It's just
you're
like
just high enough to see over everyone's head in the crowd. It's good.
Kind of like, how like Manning Bar has a few different levels. Within it,
okay.
except instead of having lots of levels that are like a few steps up, it's just like floor and then a level that's like head height if
Yeah,
you're
that's
stood on the
good.
floor.
That's a mad setup.
It's good unless you're on the floor and it's packed and you want to head out. You want to get back to the bar or go to the bathroom, because people file up and pile on the stairs as well, and no one wants to get out of your way because it's so tightly packed. And which is so that's a minor gripe, but nah, great venue, really good energy. The sound was really, really good. So that
Has he
was
still
amazing.
got the moves? Did he tear it up on stuff? Yeah, of course.
Incredible live show, absolutely incredible live show. It's the one that kind of thing where you see someone performing and they're almost channeling something else while they're performing. You know what I mean? Like that kind of energy. That kind of energy. Yeah.
That's cool.
Really, really cool. Great fun show. If you missed Mammal on this tour, because I think the Brisbane show might have been the last one of the tour, go and check them out the next time they come around if you haven't seen them before, because you will not be disappointed. But yeah, so things have been going all right. Preparations are well underway for Metal to the Max. We're getting equipment lists sorted out and planning what I am going to bring, what I can and can't bring down with me on the flights. And
I appreciate the viewing message of what we'll see from majority of the drive too.
Yeah. It's pretty wild, mate. I got to say, like, I've been looking at the town and on Google Maps and trying to get down to Street View, and it's a lot of, there's going to be a lot of dirt roads. I hope your car's going to, you hope you're okay with the car getting dirty, because it's going to be red.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what color it is, but it's going to be red by the time you get back.
White. It's white.
Not by the time we
mate,
finish.
you know what I'm really looking forward to doing? I'm looking forward to stopping into that pub at Broken Hill and going to see where the Just Dance video clip was filmed with David Bowie and that. Like,
is that out there, is it?
yeah, man, that pub I'm pretty sure is still there. So I'm having a fucking beer in that pub. Like, I'm going to see the photos. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a cool trip, and we're gonna have a lot of fucking footage to put out there for you.
Absolutely. We're gonna film as much as we can of the trip there, our time out there, and our trip back. I'm obviously gonna be flying down the day before, flying home on the Tuesday after. Yes, Tuesday after. Yeah. I'm going to book my flights soon so I can get that happening. But, like my leave's confirmed with work, so.
That's the way, man. That's the way.
It's all good. Before we know it, it's going to be the end of the year.
Oh, and then far out, we're going to have the end of year Christmas stream, and far out, oh man, the work here is never done now.
Never stops, never stopping. But speaking of Metal to the Max and all of our preparations about that, today is a bit of a special one, because we have with us today the mind behind Metal to the Max. We have with us a member of not only Lead Heavy Promotions, but Firestorm, one of the bands that's going to be playing on Metal to the Max as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. Massive, massive thank you to Ash and Tommo for joining us today. You guys are from Firestorm, and also Ash is kind of the brainchild of the whole Metal to the Max idea, it seems. So thank you for taking the time to chat with us today. We very much appreciate that.
Cheers, boys.
I want to ask, when did you kind of have this idea? And, because it's a big swing, when did you have the idea, and what was like the process of going, all right, this would be cool to, all right, I'm going to do it?
All right, well, let me start. This is 25 years ago. This started. The idea started. We used to be in band frenzies way back in the day, and with all the youth bands in Broken Hill, like that was like that's the kernel of where this all began. But over the many years and all the difficulties of life and travel and stuff like that, of course, that all takes effect. But yeah, it's just resurfaced from the old days.
Yeah, so like when we were growing up, we had a really good council youth services in Broken Hill. They used to run band frenzies for like youth bands and all that sort of stuff. And I moved away, obviously being a miner, I moved away and worked on the mines and everything. Was away for about 11 years, moved back, and no council youth services, no one was doing anything for youth, no youth bands or anything like that. And, you know, growing up, that was such a major part of, you know, where we cut our teeth, doing that sort of stuff. So that's sort of where the lead heavy started. You know, I just sort of thought, well, you know, I've been around the traps, I've put on shows, I've done all that sort of stuff. I may as well do it here as well. Tommo wasn't in a band at the time. He hung up his musical boots, and I sort of dragged him out because he had a PA and I needed a guy with a PA. And then he come out and he had a really good time at the first gig we did, and then it was sort of like, sort of got the itch. And the second gig we did, we had Chris, Paulie and Phil from Hidden Intent come out and headline a show at our second Lead Heavy show. And obviously Tommo used to be in a band called Soulforge, you know, ex-Dungeon members or ex-Dungeon Lord members. You know, I drummed for it before I moved away. Our singer, Firestorm singer, was the drummer that took over for me once I left. So, you know, the boys from Hidden Intent, they done a couple of gigs with them, and they're like, oh, no, you should get back into it. And that's where Firestorm started, but then we just kept rolling with the lead heavy thing. And Tommo was always saying to me, we need to put on a big festival. We need to put on a big festival. And I always just like, fucking just shut up, would you? Like, I'm not putting on a festival. I'm not doing it. And
we played at a couple. Like, so we played at these festivals, and we're like, and I'm like to Ash, I'm like always in his ear saying like, dude, look, it's not that hard, surely. So surely it's not that hard. I mean, if they can do it out there, like we've got this unique environment, we've got these, you know, it's like in the centre of Australia. So
yeah, and we sort of didn't really know where to have it. And then last year we played Sharkfest Music Festival with a couple of the bands that are on this year's Metal to the Max, and that was their last one. They did a couple of things. Looking at it, a couple of things that I would have done differently there, but you know, they done a good job. It was in Mildura. It was you know, it was at a good location and all that sort of stuff. So it was a shame to see that, and that's where we got our date from, because it's like, well, that's not on anymore. You know and that's when I sort of started thinking, what could we do to sort of, because you know, Mildura is only 2.5 hours from Broken Hill, and we were sort of like, you know, what could we do, something like that. And I actually went and done sound out of the Mad Max 2 40th anniversary out at the compound. And when I was out there and I was setting the PA up and everything, I was like, fuck, this is where we could do it. And I sort of started scoping it all, and about as much thought went into it was like, fuck it, I'll do it. And then I sort of hit the ground running, and in about, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, I sort of had my concept done up and sent to Tommo, and then Tommo got giddy like a schoolgirl and very excited. And then, yeah, it sort of just snowballed from there. So, yeah.
Well, there's so many networks Ashley has assembled since since he's been away and whatnot. Like, he's got all the contacts. So we're halfway there, plus the bands we've played with recently over the last few years with Firestorm. And it's made life a lot easier to organise. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of fundamentals that are going to have to be, a lot of boxes have to be checked to run this properly. But like Ash said, commit and then work it out.
Yeah. Wow. I think, this is the thing. Every band that we've spoken to so far, I don't think it's possible for them to be more excited for a show than they are for something like this. It's just such a great concept.
When I heard it, I was giddy as a schoolgirl.
Yeah.
And I heard about it standing at the pub. And I remember the exact spot where I was standing with Sam and Cassie from Anton and Major.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, have you heard about this? And I just that is the greatest idea. I cannot believe no one has fucking thought of this earlier.
But also
it's there.
Yeah.
Also, something that Ash said, and that the concept we sort of had was, it's a festival by the bands, for the bands, fundamentally in the start. Like, of course, it's for the fans as well, but it's by the bands, for the bands. And the reason the bands are so excited, and I'm excited for it, is I get to hang out with all the other bands and play with all the other bands, camp and have a good time. Like, there's nothing better than that. Like, you know, we don't get to do that when we travel to festivals because we're traveling all day. We've got to set up, play a show, and then we've got to travel home. But this, camping, you get to chill out, man. You get to hang out. It's going to be
network, meet new friends, make new friends. I mean,
the good thing about 95% of the bands that are actually on the bill are bands that I either know personally or Firestorm have played with. Because, I mean, Firestorm, we've had a pretty lucky run. We've only been a band for about 2.5 years. We've had a shitload of international supports this year, and we've played heaps of shows. And being from Broken Hill, like, you know, we're in the middle of nowhere. So even to go to Adelaide and play a show, which is our closest major city, it's still a 6.5-hour drive to Adelaide and a 6.5-hour drive home. You know, so it doesn't really matter where we go from here. It's always a big slog. So, you know, instead of, you know, bringing us to others, we're bringing others to us. And yeah, a couple of the bands that are on the bill, they've been out to Broken Hill before, and Sam and Cassie, really good friends of mine. They've actually come out and played shows in Broken Hill before, and they loved it out here. Yeah, great people. Great band too.
Yes.
And, you know, like, that's why they get stoked. And I think, like, as you can tell by my excited golden retriever here, he, you know, me and him both have the same sort of passion, and we just really, really get into it, and, you know, we get excited. And I think that sort of rubs off on the excitement of a lot of the guys that you know, we're bringing out and everything as well. And yeah, like, on the day we'll be running around. Probably, well, you won't be pulling any hair out because you haven't got it.
Pull the beard out. Pull the beard out. That's what's.
I've been saying every podcast we've been doing, you know, every band is just so excited. It's getting me and Raff more pumped up. I think my head's going to fucking explode eventually when I get there. It'll just finish off. I'll get there and it'll be so awesome. My head will just fucking come clean off.
Yeah,
we've got, as you probably tell from some of the emails, like, Kyle and I have been going back and forth about so many ideas of stuff that we can try and do, but at the same time, it's like,
we don't know until we get there.
We're not. There's a lot of stuff that we're not going to know about until we get there. If certain stuff's going to be possible or not. So we're trying to do. All right, we definitely want to do, you know, X, Y, and Z in terms of coverage. We definitely want to get, you know, sort of interviews with every band while we're out there, even just like sort of 10, 15 minutes. You know, if we want to try and get, you know, talk to tons of the punters. We want to get tons of sweeping, amazing shots of the site and the surrounds, and just catalog the whole experience, so that next year it's like, all right, cool, this is a bare minimum of what you're going to get, right? Yeah. But then if it happens again next year, you know, like, we would, you know, we'd love to come out again next year and do it, right? And then if what we learn from this year, we can go, all right, well, maybe we can do some of those ideas next year, right? And we kind of build it and expand on it, and then we know what we will and won't need, and we know what we can and can't do, and it's just going to kind of build everything. And like, we scooped up some banners for our marquee, so we're going to have
I did see them, and they look awesome.
So we're going to have a nice big, you know, background for us, and a big one on the outside of the tent, so people won't be able to miss it. And we're trying to work out, all right, how are we going to light our tent for once it gets dark? How are we going to do all this stuff? You know, like, we've already got our accommodation sorted. That's like set, you know, where, like, soon as we got the response from you to be like, yeah, sure, like, you want to come out and be a part of it as well? Like, that'd be awesome. Yeah. We're like, all right, let's make it happen, you know?
The cogs started rolling.
Yeah, and look, that's the big thing. Like, so it's a lot of, and I understand from a promoter point of view, a lot of people are like, for me to do, like, not for me personally, but, you know, for us to do a festival from a promoter point of view, it needs to make money, it needs to make me money, and it needs to do this and that and this and that for us to run it again. Essentially, and much to his disgust, because he always says, you need to charge this, you need to charge that, you need to start doing it, you need to start banking money for lead heavy and all that. As long as, you know, I can get all the infrastructure, like the staging and, you know, all the stuff that we're hiring, and all the bands paid equally and fairly, I don't really care if we don't make anything. So, like, you know, like, at most I want to break even, and if we don't, then I probably will run it next year anyway, because I am a bit of a glutton for punishment. I mean, if you met,
but it's
if you met the rest of the members of the band, you'd understand.
But it's just because it's such a cool concept, though. It really is, and this is something we talked about, with I think a couple of the other bands is like obviously, metal is very niche in Australia. Like rock is one thing, but metal is quite another. And they are. It's so to do something like this where you're sort of combining some like we've said it in the intros to just about every fucking video we've done on this. It is legitimately 30 of Australia's best metal bands that are playing on this thing. Like I don't think there's a single band on this lineup that is going to be disappointing or a letdown in any way. I don't think there's a single band on this lineup that people are not going to really enjoy and they're not going to be able to get something out of. And it's to combine such like an Australian icon like Mad Max with an event like this, I think is a brilliant way to sort of open people up a bit to it. And it's just such a cool, like you said, you're getting, like you were saying just before you started recording, right? Like you're getting like a team of fire dancers coming out to do stuff.
So, and the funny thing is so people actually come, like yourselves, like people come to me and they're like, hey, we'd like to do this, we'd like to do that. And I'm like, yeah, do it. Like, come.
No follow through, buddies there.
We'll sort it out. And then, it's just like you guys said to me in the email the other day, like, oh, what do you want from us? And I'm like, I don't expect anything from you. I want you to come and have a good time. I want you to have complete free reign of what you want to do with your medium. And, help me. Like, the only thing I want to do is facilitate that for you guys so you can come and have a killer time. And, at the end of the day, I don't need to, I don't need to sort of tell you what I want out of you, because at the end of the day, the only thing I want out of anyone that comes to Metal to the Max is to come out and have a killer time. The fire dancers are coming out, Shani, and, her partner, Tristan. We actually played with Tristan's band, Terrorential.
Oh, shit.
Wait, that Tristan.
I
went to TAFE. I was at TAFE when doing like music stuff at TAFE when Tristan was out there.
His missus is a fire dancer, and I'm not sure if he puts on the leotard and spins the sticks around as well.
I'm getting that on video.
Yeah. But so they messaged me. They messaged me and said, oh, do you care? Like, can we come out and do this? And I'm like, yeah, fucking for sure. So they're going to be doing like roaming fire dancing stuff during the day. And then we're going to set them up in front of the main stage while the headliners are setting up. And they're going to do like a whole big spectacle one and everything. We've got our friend is going to be doing most of the food out there. So he's going to do like American style barbecue and brisket and all that sort of stuff. And, I'm
gonna have to book a business class flight because my fat ass is gonna be rolling.
Just Raff, on what you were saying there in terms of like joining it with metal with Mad Max, having that element to it. It sort of brings in that side of things, and also maybe some of the cosplay sort of element to the show.
Yes,
But when you go to the festival scene in Europe and stuff, people go to the festival because it's a festival, whether or not it's heavy metal, rock and roll, dance, whatever it is. And so if we can start to tap in and build on that element of it, we can also foster
exactly.
We took our friends' kids along to shows who've turned 18, right? And it's the first time they've ever seen a heavy metal band live. And they were like, what is this? This is amazing. And the amount of people that haven't been exposed. And so if we can do this festival and just give them an in, then you got them hooked for life. Metal fans are hooked for life. Once you're in, you're in.
And this is the thing, like you mentioned the cosplay stuff, right? Like that's something we've talked about as well. Yeah. We've talking to bands and we're going, hey, like if you got anything special planned, anything, sort of special outfits or costuming lined up, like Kyle and I are going, running through our heads like, okay, is there any special stuff we can bring or wear, like anything we can have that's going to be down there? Like, and you know, you can make this an event like this. You really can turn it into obviously a great like heavy metal festival, but also a celebration of Mad Max and what you're doing there. And like you can
Silverton.
you can basically make it almost like just a post-apocalyptic festival for 3 days out there of you know, like just, yes, you got metal bands playing, but that's just part of it. And you've got obviously the Mad Max Museum is out there and it's the site and people can go and check that out and enjoy that. And then cosplay stuff. And you know, theoretically, if you gets traction, you could have like a cosplay competition as like a wasteland cosplay competition.
You can even
as
do
part of it.
you can even do hashtags for Instagram to get people to just post photos. Create your own hashtag. Just
and like you say,
metal
you got
to the max, metal to the max.
Yeah, getting fire dancers, and that's something you can continue, right? Like you can get. If you've got, once you get people interested, you can be like, all right, cool. Like, let's get other people out to do that as well. And you just find like more things you can add onto it over time to create, to create that. And then you've got, it just becomes like, it kind of starts snowballing into this giant, you know, like wasteland festival type thing. And this is the thing, like, I feel like your brain kind of runs like mine does sometimes, I suspect, where it's like you hit on an idea like this and then you're just throwing like a billion different ideas out and then you have to go, okay, now what's actually doable, you know, and you got to...
I don't think about what's doable. I think about, I just sort of come up with shit and it's like, I don't think, is it doable? I just think, I'm just going to do it. So you know,
do or do not. There is no try, right?
Look, you know, that sort of train of thought hasn't failed me yet. It might in October, but I don't think it will. But the beauty about where Metal to the Max is it's like we've sold a few family passes and everything like that. And like where the compound is actually on the Silverton Camel Farm. So they not only have that there, they do like sunset camel rides and all this sort of stuff, man. You know, like it's not just you know, come and listen to the bands. You just can people are camping there like
for a fucking nighttime camel ride.
Yeah, they do awesome sunset. I actually, when we come back from tour with Unleash the Archers, the first thing I've done was took my family out there and we actually went on a sunset camel ride and all that sort of stuff. It was awesome. And then you, like you said, you've got the Mad Max Museum. So all your hardcore Mad Max heads, everyone that's there, I do suggest you go and have a look at that Mad Max 2 museum because it is awesome. You know, like all the alcohol and everything like that, 99% sure it's all going to be BYO. So, but you've got the Silverton Hotel out there. You know, they do a good feed if you want something different.
There's a bakery.
There's a bakery out there. There's, you know,
I'd be remiss if I called myself the beer buddy and didn't check out the locals. That'd be very poor form on my part.
Yeah, you've got the Monday Plains lookout, and you know, there's just heaps of good stuff around that area that to do. So
really, like, you think about it, it's a whole package. I mean, Raff and I are getting up there the day before. We could potentially actually get out and do some stuff. Yeah. So if you actually want to make like because it is over the October long weekend in New South Wales. Yeah. So if you get you can really make a fucking proper weekend of it. I'm dragging my kids up next year. I have a prediction that you're going to break even. It's going to go so stupid next year. You're going to have people beating down the door to be on this thing.
Yeah, look, and the good thing is we had a great response. So you know, the thing about the way my brain works is I sort of it's hard to explain. So once I get an idea, I latch onto it, I hyperfixate. It's probably my ADHD, and then I make everything I can possibly think happen. And we had like 100 bands. You know, we had like 100 bands. You know, apply for it, but I'd already sort of started thinking, and yeah, ADHD and impatience. I'd already sort of gone this. You know, this is the lineup that I'm thinking. This is the lineup that I'm gonna. Then I'd sort of filtered other bands that applied and that. But I do strongly suggest bands apply because it's not going to be like every other festival where it's like, oh, what's popular now? You know, I'm going to get that out. I like to have, even when we run smaller lead heavy shows, I like to have a little bit of an eclectic lineup. So in the cities and all that sort of stuff, you either go to a core show or you go to a thrash show or you go to a death metal show. Where we are out in Broken Hill, there's not a lot of dedicated metal fans. But, we actually just had King Parrot come out to Broken Hill.
Love those boys. Love those boys.
I would have gone fucking mental.
Yeah, and I was talking to them about it, and they were like, "Oh fuck, we would have loved to come out and headline."
Next year.
Yes.
Well,
for next year.
Next year, headlined by King Parrot and Mammal. King Parrot and Mammal next year, I think, should be the headline. But look, I'm talking to so many bands up here about it as well. Like, I'm up in Brisbane, and I'm talking to all my mates up here. I'm telling everyone about it up here. And they're like, that sounds like such a fucking cool idea. I'm like, yeah. And I mean, look, I'm going to be talking to you about, like, off camera, I'm going to be talking to you about my band potentially for next year as well, because, like, we got our literal, the apocalypse is our thing, so sure. It's like to give you an idea, you see that, the kind of,
mask in the background, that kind of stage,
that kind of shit. So, but anyway, it's just a off camera later discussion. But it just
There's nothing wrong with shameless promotion. All right,
the fact that you've got so many.
I keep telling him, lean into it.
You got so many interested bands. It's great.
So far away, you got to get a bus, man, and just bust it down. How awesome would that be?
Look,
well, that's
Sam from Antonomasia was talking about hiring a bus, and because his old man's very integral to everything that Antonomasia do, and they were looking at hiring a bus and bringing people out from Sydney. And this is the thing, like, so I've got a lot of the lead heavy posts. I think a lot of people, I've had a couple of comments like, oh, I don't know anyone on that lineup, or, one dude was like, oh, Australian festivals are so weak. And it's like, yeah, but, at the end of the day, this is a festival for fans, but it's not fest. It's not, as much as I love Froth and Fury in Adelaide, it's not a big festival. It's a small grassroots festival with underground bands.
Underground.
The thing is, you reckon Froth and Fury started off like that? Everything starts at a fucking grassroots level. Pull your heads out your asses, people. Pull them out your asses.
Legitimately, we have said that an event like this has the potential to, if it goes well and starts to gain traction over a couple of years, like, I can absolutely see people traveling from overseas to attend an event like this.
For sure.
And obviously not to the same scale as something like Wacken, right? But the way it's like a metal festival at a small town, and it just kind of grows and gains traction, and people are like, it really is a great opportunity to just go, right, this is a great distillation of Australian metal bands doing, going out to an iconic Australian location, playing, just having a good time, having a party for everything.
Yeah, I mean, like with the pricing, I didn't work out with the pricing. I just sort of worked out how many bands I had, and obviously, paying the headliners their guarantee, and then I worked out how many bands I had. And the thing with so we've encountered it playing, and like you guys, you playing your own band and everything like that, you would have encountered the odd show where you go and you travel and, you do all the hard yards and you get paid $50 for the show. I sort of wanted to run it a little bit differently, where if I charged a certain ticket price, I wanted to maximize essentially getting every band paid well. Because, Broken Hill is fucking out of the way. And, at the end of the day, fuel's a killer, and, flights and accommodation.
Not so much
and all
accommodation if you're camping. But.
Well, yeah, but I'm looking at hiring. There's a scout hall here, so I'm in talks with them to hire that. That's got 47 beds in it, to put the bands up there. And that doesn't come out. That doesn't come out of their cut. That's just something that I do.
You're an absolute legend. See, look, I'll tell you what. If that was me, I'd be like, man, you go camp and you go fucking meet the people, enjoy yourself. Go I'll get you a generator for a little band area.
Yeah. And look, there is that option. Like a lot of the bands, So one band that I'm really close with the drummer on is Firing Squad, thrash band from Melbourne. Really great band. Kyle, the drummer, is a really good dude.
Kyle's always fucking great.
Yeah. And he was like, I'm going to bring my family, and I'm going to make a family trip out of it. Can I bring my caravan? I was like, fuck, I don't care what you do, just whatever. And that's the thing. Like, if people want to do stuff, do it. Obviously, don't come and it's not stereosonic. You don't have to come and like start fights or anything like that. But if you just want to come out and just have a good time, that's essentially it's. Even though it's a metal show, it's all about the vibe, man. Like the heavy metal vibe.
The little warning I've like to be putting out to everyone is that if you're going to be a dick out there, that's a fucking big desert you can get lost in.
There's a lot of mine shafts that you might happen to fall down. But
and this, I have faith that no one's going to travel all the way out to Broken Hill to cause problems for everyone else.
No.
I don't think anyone's going to travel out there no one that's traveling out there is going to want to have a bad time. And the fact that almost everyone that's going to be attending this has to make such a journey to get there means that no one's going to want their time spoiled by anybody else. And they're also going to understand that most other people that are attending will have gone through a similar journey. Yeah. And so I think everyone is going to have that shared experience of that, and that is going to help keep everyone in a good mood. It's going to help keep everyone positive, and I really genuinely feel like everyone is going to do everything they can to help on it. It's going to be very hippie. Everyone's going to like, oh, you forgot to bring your
commune.
You forgot to bring your thing. That's all right. We've got spares. We'll give you one of ours. Or like, bands are going to be. I'm sure bands are going to be coordinating to like. To share gear so that people don't have to lug as much stuff out there. And
I mean, with the beauty of that is through doing lead heavy and having to do everything ourselves. Where I own all the backline. Like I play drums in Firestorm. I've got 5 drum kits in my shed. We've got cabs. We've got amps. We've got fucking everything you could need. We've got the PA we're using of it. 3/4 of it is the PA that we already own.
So it's just BYO guitars.
BYO guitars and drumsticks and cymbals because, like I break enough cymbals. I don't need anyone else's help. So,
very fair.
It's just
interestingly like
bare minimum. Bring bare minimum what you'd usually take to a full backline gig. And then, you don't have the issue of having to cart all this shit out to the arsehole in the middle of nowhere.
Some of the, talking about the vibe of a heavy metal festival and stuff like
I'll be
that.
back in a sec.
Ash was, when we ran these lead heavy shows and stuff, you'd go to the club owners and you'd say, we want to put on a heavy metal show. And they'd be like, oh, that could be a bit risky, violence and all this carry on. And they're the most respectful shows you'll ever go to as a heavy metal fan at a show.
Maybe not the toilets, but yeah.
Yeah, true. But, and then we come away from those shows locally and the pub owners are like, oh, this was great. Everyone was well behaved. We didn't have any issues.
Yep.
And they love it. And then they've supported the heavy metal scene since, which has been
so they should. I mean, we had a bit of an incident the other week and it got resolved fairly cool. Look, I'm not going to mention the band's name. They had some theatrics with water and we were in an upper level in the club that we were in and it wasn't sealed properly. Water went through. The bistro was packed and red water started going through the ceiling. It was meant to mimic blood. Not the greatest thing to happen in a sports club that's, run by a bunch of old blokes, nothing against them. They all came in, they checked it out. It was a quick and easy fix. We're respectful. Nothing ever happens when we're there once a month. It's all gravy. Like they obviously had a look at what they made that night and just went, look, let's just resolve this quick and easy. Let's get it done. And it was done.
Heavy metal fans are easy, man. We have a few brews, we have a good time, and it's simple as that.
And
we save all that shit for the mosh pit.
Yeah. And we obviously have been reminding people as like we want to leave, we want to ensure that, the site is left better than when it was found because that's how you ensure this happens again. Right? We want to make sure the camping grounds are left in peak condition. We want to make sure that the site is not damaged and is left nice and clean as clean as a post-apocalyptic wasteland encampment can be. You want to leave just the right amount of dirt, not too much, not too little.
Because don't forget, I am a fucking dad, and I'm going to go back there the day after with my fucking
Gonna
camera.
use his dad voice.
Mate, and if I see shit left over there, I'm going to film it. I'm going to find out who the fuck you are. I'm going to take it and I'm going to dump it on your doorstep.
I have every confidence that, and it is a bit of blind faith, but yeah, like I have every confidence that everyone's going to come out and do the right thing, have a fucking killer time, and then gonna be hammering me and the Lead Heavy page with what's going on next year, 2 weeks after this one. Because when I go to places and have a good time like that, I do the same thing. So, I wouldn't expect anything less of anyone else. So, yeah, like I've already got a couple of things in my mind. We haven't even done this year yet, but I do have a couple of things in my mind for next year. Like if this turns out good and say, the legends at Hardline Media or Your Mate Booking or anyone like that are bringing someone international around the same time that happen to be going from Melbourne to Adelaide and a day to kill, they might want to sort of, take the L instead of, going straight through, and they might want to go this way then that way. So
if we do our jobs properly and every band out there pulls their thumb out and posts and posts and posts and posts, I've got this weird gut feeling that you're going to be asked if someone can drop in that gap.
Yeah, and like
I have a feeling you're going to have this Mad Max fan that's got this band that's Mad Max fans that's going to go, can we just do it?
Yeah. When we were on the road with Unleash the Archers in June. Yeah. June, yeah, because obviously they've got that Tonight We Ride song and it's like full Mad Max spec film clip, and we told them about it and they were like, holy shit, that is awesome. But I do want to keep it somewhat grassroots. I don't want to just like a lot of these bands that are playing here are just as good as bands that are getting heaps of exposure.
That's what we say all the time. That's what we say all the time.
You just got to look. Listen.
The big festivals, like they only play what's bankable. That's the problem. They play, who do we book that's going to guarantee? Metallica, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. How do we know we're going to make money? But you don't give a chance to these other guys. How on earth are they going to make it?
No, and that's the thing. Really, it should be up to every band just to bring 4 friends.
There is a time and there is a place for that sort of stuff as well, though. So, have you guys ever been to Steel Assassins Festival in Sydney? That Dave Balfour.
Fucking Dave comes up again.
Every single fucking podcast. The guy's a living legend.
But yeah, we played Steel Assassins last year. Last year. And this is you had blokes there like Mick Goddard doing photography and everything like that. And we sort of
love Mick. Shout out to Mick. Shout out to Mick, amazing photographer.
Mick has look good.
Mick has taken little sidetrack here. Mick has shot a ton of the gigs that I played back when I was living in Sydney. My favorite photo of myself on stage is one of Mick's photos. Right now, crazy story. I told him this. I'm like, he knows it's my favorite photo of myself that's everyone's ever taken. My mum worked with his wife.
Yeah.
And they somehow got talking. And so one year for Christmas, one of the things that Mum got me was a framed print of that photo. And his wife gifted a framed copy of the photo to my mum because she was just like so hype as well. And I'm just like, amazing people, incredible talent there. So massive shout out. Massive shout out to Mick.
Big shout out to Mick. And I dare you to come. You said you were going to. I dare you to come.
Do it.
Hey, Mick.
Do it.
Hit us up, bro. Hit us up.
Yeah, if you need someone to ride with, we're going to be.
Hit us up, man. We could use a third driver.
If Mick comes out, I'll get his favourite Firestorm quote on a shirt. You guys are really good, but you were just too loud. So every time we play, man, it's just.
Hey, Mick, if it's gonna tell Mick if it's gonna sweeten the deal, there's a spare bed in the cabin that we have.
Yeah,
booked.
man. Yeah.
So you don't accommodations covered. We got
all the way out
transport.
Here, I'll see if I can get Tabbera to play next year because I think me and Nick are two of the biggest Tabbera fans in Australia.
Right.
So if he can come out this year, I'll see what I can do about getting him. Tabbera actually.
Although it's got to be a bit weird, a 16-hour drive for Mick with me and Raff just staring at him the whole time.
Look, as long as you don't lick his forehead or lick his eyeball or something like that, I think.
If I have enough beers, anything's possible.
So I gotta ask you, right? I gotta ask you, how did the conversation go when you reached out to the people that kind of have control of the Mad Max site? Like, how did that conversation go? Was it like was it an immediate like, that sounds really fucking cool, let's do it? Or was there like some trepidation? What was that like?
Nah, look, so Peter from the Camel Farm, she is awesome. Like I was out there doing the sound for the 40th. They had V2A, which are like a Mad Max inspired dark techno kind of group from Germany. So they came out and done the show for the 40th, and a couple of local bands and all that sort of like a local cover band and that. And I was out there doing sound for 3 days, and I just sort of got talking to her, and I was like, "Oh, look, I'd really like to do something like this." And she didn't. She wasn't like. She just sort of like, yeah, let's see what we can make happen, and we'll go from there. There's still a couple of things that I need to sort out. Like the Silverton Village Committee and that sort of stuff. They do have a few little trepidations and that sort of stuff, but at the same time, we're working through all that, and it's going to go ahead, and they're going to be completely happy. Everyone's going to come, everyone's going to be respectful, and they're going to go, holy shit, I can't believe we even thought, that something like this was going to be a problem. So,
100%.
And it's all like, like we're from Broken Hill, but Silverton's 15 minutes down the road. Like, I've got,
I mean, that's next door. That's next door out there, right? Like, that's fucking nothing. When
my great relatives come over from Ireland and Scotland, they were all working. They were all working out of Silverton, living out of Silverton, the mines there and everything like that. So like my family history, pretty much is all based here. So, but all we need. Well, not all we need, but yeah, I'd like to see people, because the biggest motto of Lead Heavy is locals supporting locals and bands supporting bands. So if everyone that comes has a similar sort of outlook, if you need a couple more cartons because like you're having a great time and you've drank too much piss, go and buy them from the Silverton pub.
Yeah,
bands don't start till 12 o'clock. Say you're up early, head in, have a look at the Mad Max Museum. Fucking go twice.
Go to Broken Hill.
Go to Broken Hill.
Yeah.
Like go and get some fucking couple of sausage rolls from the bakery and just
mate, we can't wait. We can't wait.
Look,
get around and have a look. Like,
let me tell you something. I didn't get this body by not going to the local bakery. Okay, it's like I'm gonna be, but I feel like the pub needs to be warned of what's coming. Because they are going to be, if they're not careful and they're not prepared, they will be drunk. Man. They will be drunk dry.
Oh, look, and that's not for them. That's not a bad problem to have either. Like, you know what I mean?
That's where the headline band starts playing "Pub with No Beer." Then we've got fucking problems.
Well, I want to see, and I know it'll happen. It may be blind faith, but. People may like, oh, you've got a lot of faith in this, you've got a lot of faith in that. And it's like, well, I just want to do something. I just want everyone will come and everyone will just be exactly the same as I am. Everyone's going to be stoked to be there. Everyone's going to be having a fucking great time. The
bands are, obviously not a problem at all in the bands. The bands themselves are going to be great and they're going to be encouraging everyone to be amazing. Like I said, it's the kind of thing where, Like we said, everyone that's coming out there will have traveled a long way, and no one's going to want to travel all that way to have a bad time. They're not going to want to travel all that way to see anyone else have a bad time. So it really is going to be, I feel, and again, you talking about like blind faith, blind faith on my part too, right? But I genuinely believe
that. Like Bruce says, if you drop a pebble in a.
Yeah, when you think about it, we've got 30 bands and you average about 4 person per band. I'm going to have 135 hype men walking around the crowd just fucking geeing everyone up to have a good time.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
It's going to be like, everyone's going to be like on a Snoop Dogg concert when you get old mate running around with a green suit throwing money at everyone. Everyone's going to be playing off everyone, and the energy is going to be really good, and everyone's just going to have a great time.
Absolutely.
Or else.
So we have we've been talking to a lot of the bands. Obviously, we had Witch Grinder on, and Witch Grinder's always an incredible live show. Like no question at all. Like they're a great choice as a headliner. Darker Half, obviously, as well, headlining the second night. We have our episode coming up with them the week after this one, so yeah, that'll be there. But we, are like they're a band that's been, all over the world, representing Australia and doing amazing work on that front too. And they've been in and around the Aussie scene and the international scene for 20 years, right? And then you've got some of the bands where this is not quite, but almost their first show. It's like, it's going to be a range, as you say, a broad experience. Like there's, the listening through the playlist that you put together of all the bands, it's a range of metal styles, but there's obviously, when you're traveling out that far for something and you go to a festival, there's always going to be variety at a festival. It's how these things work, right? You were saying before we started recording there, you've managed to wrangle a fairly sizable stage that's going to look, so the bands that are playing, you're going to have to fill some space, guys. You're going to have to move around that stage. If you're just stood there playing, watching your hands, that's going to be
and you're going to be filmed. You're going to be on film. We are going to be filming every band. Please bring your A game.
We're going to be filming as much as we can of all the bands. We're going to be filming as much as we can of all the people and the crowds and the mood there. Like it's going to be, we want to contribute as best we can to a lot of this stuff as well.
And present it the way it should be.
And just really show people how
you
it can be.
You raised a good point there, actually. And I'd just like to touch on that. When we were talking before about international headliners and all that sort of stuff, what we don't see a lot of is, the 4 bands that I've got as headliners this year, people are like, oh, where's the international headliner? They have been international. So Darker Half have they toured Europe. Harlot have toured Europe. Hidden Intent played fucking Wacken Festival.
Orpheus just got back.
Orpheus just got back from Japan. Like Witch Grinder have done all that sort of stuff too. These bands are international bands, but they're just from Australia.
Yes, exactly.
It's like if they go somewhere else.
What's your definition?
Then what's your definition? Like, it was so strange for us going and playing New Zealand with Unleash the Archers because you're
the international band.
Yep.
But like we're just fucking four dads from fucking outback Australia, just like we
and
don't see it that way.
That is the best, the most humbling shit to have, man, because it's earned. You guys know your product, you know how to sell your product, you know how to do all your product properly, and in the short, like you guys said, 2.5 years. You guys have accomplished more in 2.5 years than some bands have done in like 10. I was in a band 5 years and you've done more than what I did. Like, at the end of the day, it's all about knowing the extra finer details. It's cool to be in a band. Yes, it's fun, but if you don't know the business side of it, you're just going to be constantly playing these things all the time.
Oh, look, I as on the band side of things, I don't even claim to know the business. I'm just fucking. I have the same sort of energy everywhere I go. I try to, everywhere I go, we play shows with people. I'm just so stoked to go and play with other bands. And that genuine, that genuine enthusiasm that I bring across and the rest of our boys bring across as well, because it's like everywhere we go, we're always sort of like the blokes from the bush that sort of go and, don't take ourselves very seriously. We'll have a joke and, we'll have a banter and all that sort of stuff, usually at our own expense.
Not afraid to help out either.
Not afraid to fucking get stuck in and help out. And then, then we hit the stage, and then people see what we do that we do take seriously, which is like our music and all that sort of stuff. And they're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
So, and so I think it's that sort of thing that's put us on the trajectory that we're on, that, everyone we've played with, we've become friends with, and promoters and all that sort of stuff. We're not afraid to get in and help that a little extra bit. I mean,
and it all stems from back 25 years ago at these band frenzies, because we were given the facility, like, to put a show on, but we had to do it. We had to put it on. We had to do the PA. We had to bring the gear. We had to organise the posters. We had to do all that as kids, as like young men and kids, man.
Yeah, and that, like, they facilitated a place for us to have it and some of the gear. But it was like, if you want it to succeed, you've got to make it succeed. And that's the way I'm running.
That carries on.
That was my pitch to a lot of the bands on Metal to the Max. I want to pay you guys as much as I can, so I need your help to push it. The more you guys push it, the more tickets you sell, the more money you're going to make. It's not about you making. It's not a glass ceiling sort of thing. It's not like, say we sell 500 tickets. I'm not going to sit there and go, okay, you only get paid up to here. You get a cut of 500 tickets, or you get a cut of 200 tickets, or you get a cut of 100 tickets.
Yeah.
You are going to get paid fairly for your work.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fucking awesome,
I mean,
man.
we did see as well, one of the ticket allocations is sold out. I think with the shuttle bus there. So we are hearing
That's great news.
hearing from the different bands that tickets are moving. So that's good news as well.
Tickets are going well, man. And we haven't actually even started poster drops or hardcore promotion in Broken Hill yet. These are just tickets that are moving to people outside of Broken Hill. So, we've just...
The locals will be keen to support it too. No question.
Well, I've got to say, every time I've sort of mentioned it, no one's heard about it, and people hear it in conversation, you eavesdropping bastards.
Yeah.
Talking to other people. I don't mind, because you hear that, you see their ears prick up, and they're like, hold on, are you talking about a heavy metal festival out in the middle of the desert? And I'm like, yes, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Here's the thing, go check it out. Go.
I haven't spoken to one person about it who doesn't love the idea.
Yeah, look, the hardest thing about today's well, not so much committing, but the hardest thing about advertising anything today on social media is there's just that much content flooding it day in, day out. And like something like this, you put up a heap of paid ads and all that sort of stuff, and you get poster drops around town and all that sort of stuff. You're always going to have people who are like, oh, I didn't even know it was on or anything like that, but it's all down to the more people that are coming and the more people that believe in the idea that share it. It doesn't take much to just sort of share a post. Share the post. You see it, you like it, hit share. You don't even have to write anything. It's just the more you put it around, like, because I sort of do everything off my own back. Like I'll sit there and I'll share it on all the sort of metal pages and all that, and I do all the ads, and at the end of the day, I do it because I'm stoked. But I'm stoked to just be able to go and watch. Like, and the shittest thing is I'm probably not going to be able to watch much because I'm going to be running around trying to sort of help everything out and make sure the day goes well.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. You can watch our YouTube video after.
Yeah. But look, if I don't hear one band over 2 days, if I'm running around, fucking pulling my hair out, parting my beard down the middle like Moses, by ripping the hair out of that, if I get to run around and I see 300, 400, 500 people just fucking having a great time, then that's a win. Yeah, that's my day made. That's my weekend made.
Absolutely.
Just out of curiosity, just to give the people, like, is it actually inside the actual compound bit?
So the compound, it's not. So I'm actually going to share. So a few people done a video on the compound from the 40th anniversary. So
I saw that. I was checking that video out.
It's the front 3/4 of the compound made, but it's an open back, so it's not fully enclosed.
Oh.
So it's an open back. So you've got the ramparts and everything at the front with the turrets and all that. You've got the big, like in Mad Max 2, you've got the big yellow bus parked at the side that comes across.
So it's the entryway into it, but they haven't got the back half of it.
Yeah, so the back half used to be all salt bush and everything, but they've actually got it all cleared up, graded, leveled out, a nice red dirt and everything. So, it's going to be that. But they've also got bits and pieces in there from other Mad Max. Like they've got Bartertown. So Bartertown's right in the middle, and that's where we're going to be selling all the merch and everything at Bartertown. So
Have they got a Thunderdome?
yeah.
Have they got a Thunderdome?
No.
They don't, unfortunately. That's pretty much all they don't have. But
Create our own Thunderdome with blackjack and hookers.
we may
Family friendly, Kyle.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Like hookers, Sesame Street or something. But it's this sort of stuff. If we do this well, everyone looks after the compound and because obviously the compound didn't get built for free. The legends out at the Mad Max Museum, they actually built the compound. And if they see their hard work treated with respect, and, at the end of the festival, I can say, hey, I'm going to give you guys some money and,
let's upgrade.
well, not so much upgrade, but let's and it's the same with you guys. So my whole idea with this is facilitating other people's creative outlet,
the bands, the bands. You support the bands, you support the social media guys, you support everyone on a fair and even keel, and it'll all come back and hopefully serve you well in the end.
And you got the guys out there that have the Mad Max Museum, and once you go out there and you actually look at it, you'll understand how much these guys
flew out. You got to remember, these guys flew out. They lived in the UK, and he flew out because he was such a Mad Max fan to make the Mad Max Museum, and move to the Earthland. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
that's dedication, baby.
That's dedication.
If I can, at the end of it, if I can say, hey man, here's some money, and don't ask me what to put there. Just here's some money, and just fucking do whatever your heart desires, and do whatever you want.
Have us back next year.
Yeah. Do whatever your heart desires and whatever you you dream of when you look at it and say, I wish I had this bit and I wish I had that bit. Just here's some cash, man. Take it and make it happen. And
actually, we could probably get some government grants to sort that out too.
100%. No, work off it, man. Because look, I've just come out. I've just been asked to go down to. I haven't just been asked. I've been asked to go down to Goulburn on the 17th of August. A bunch of kids asked me to come out there, right? They want me to film out there, do this mad bit. I don't know if they're going to see this far into this video, but I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do. These kids, they've lost all their government funding at their local place. They have made the effort to put on their own fucking show to raise money to keep the place open.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Mate, they've offered me a case of beer to go down there. I feel bad taking it, so I'm going to be donating some fucking money to the cause.
Awesome.
I'm going down there for free. These kids are doing such a big effort to keep their little heavy metal community afloat. They're just we don't have any money, we can give you a case of beer. Mate, get me a case of beer. I'm not going to tell you that. I almost want to start a GoFundMe page for them.
Where is that? In Goulburn?
Yeah.
When is it?
17th of August.
17th of August.
Yeah.
A bunch of kids, man. And a couple of them have originals. A lot of them have covers. They're just keen.
Yeah. Talk to me about it. We might throw some lead heavy sort of. It might not be a heap of cash, but we might be able to throw a couple $100 or something like that.
That would be great. That would be great. I'm going to see if they actually have a thing that they actually donate to. I think they have a little youth center, so you can do it directly to them. But I want to help out as much as I can.
But this is the whole reason we started Lead Heavy. So for that exact kind of thing.
It's also the same reason that we started doing this shit. Because, as you can clearly tell, Kyle and I are extremely passionate about music, and especially heavy metal and alternative music. In Australia, and we're not saying, we're not here trying to be heroes. We're not here trying to be nothing, right? We're just we love it. We want to talk about it with other people that love it, and we want to share that passion and excitement with as many people as possible, because it's because we get so much joy out of it, and we want other people to be able to share in that, and like, what those kids are doing is the perfect example of that. And you're right. I mean, there's talk about like government grants. Like, I don't know if there's like council funding, like regional council funding that can go towards it, like any sort of, or like any government arts grants that can go towards funding something like this as a demonstration of Australian culture, because you're literally doing, Australian film culture mixed with Australian music culture in one, all in one thing. Fuck, I'm so excited.
That's the thing. I mean, you look. I know I can speak. I know
we got you, didn't we?
Mate, you got it, mate. You didn't even have to ask us, and you had us. I told Raff about this, and I said, because man, I'm dyslexic. I'm fucked when it comes down to emails. I'm like, Raff, you need to send emails to these people. We need to get on this.
Yeah.
Like, this needs to happen.
Yeah. And look, like, I've got so many emails from there, and I will apologise here to everyone. I will get back to you eventually. I am one man, and I also manage my own band, and I work underground on the mines, and I'm running around like a blue ass fly, and I'm a dad. I've got 2 kids, I've got a wife, and it's just I live just as hectic life as anyone. It's not a one-man show. Like, there's a lot of people that have helped me with Lead Heavy behind the scenes, friends, family, Tommo, the boys from the band. But yeah, like, we will get there. We will get to you all eventually.
You already are, man. You already look, dude. Even by doing this and just putting your face out there and putting an actual face to the person, to the people that are actually making this impossible.
Look, it's pretty hard to lynch someone that you don't know what they look like, right?
Now we have someone to blame.
Exactly.
Oh, grab the big bearded guy in the black shirt.
Which one?
That's exactly. So much respect for everything. Like
look, man.
It's small pebbles in a pond that can make the biggest waves by the end.
Yeah. And like, I don't do it for myself. I do it for everyone that's going to be stoked to come, and I do it for the bands that might not necessarily get an opportunity to play shows like this. Like you said, there's a lot of new bands that are out. We did have a band pull out, Ecdysis. Their singer and guitarist Sydney, he's actually going to be in a wedding around the same time, so they can't make it. So we've got a band that have sort of just started, and they're like writing originals. They're fucking school age kids. They're all like 14, 15.
Hell yeah.
Fucking good on yous, man. We were literally talking about that.
Yeah, like Alice in Chains, Nirvana sort of like grungy sort of worship. And I hit them up and said if did they want to come and play, and they're making sure they're available, and if they do, they're going to open day 2. So
sick.
And that's
brilliant.
What it's
Can't
about.
wait to interview them, lot.
Yeah.
With your parents' permission. Their parents have to be there if they're going to be on camera.
Yeah.
Or at least a phone call.
Yeah, so they're called Scream Street. But if they can't do it, there's also another young band. They're called Young Punk Band. Majority female punk band called Diversity Highs. So
good on you. I love it.
If Stream Street can't do it, then I'm going to hit them up and see if they want to do it. So like, if I do get bands that can't do it and drop out, and all that sort of stuff, I do have everyone's submissions there, and like, I'm not going to just I'm not going to just cut bands and put anything on. So
yeah. I mean, look, I'm just in speculating and talking about next year. Like I said, I'd love to see. I realize, obviously, just travel wise, it's a lot more convenient for Melbourne, Sydney, and Adelaide bands.
Yeah.
But I was saying, like, last year, there's a ton of bands from up Brisbane way that I think would be amazing to be on it, and I think it'd be really awesome to see. I don't know, like, I'm not fully across where every band on the lineup is from, but I was saying, like, I think it'd be amazing to see. To try and make a point of having like at least 1 or 2 bands from each state or territory as a part of it, if that's something that can be done and coordinated, because really bringing Australian metal together and representing the whole country in that way, I think would be such a special thing.
Yeah, and I mean, look, this is the thing.
First year.
This is the first year. next year it's just only gonna get bigger and better.
Like, I'm like I said to you before. Everything for ticket sales is either going to go to bands or is going to go to putting it on.
You don't want to be that person that missed the first ever Metal to the Max.
No, don't. Please don't watch it through our videos. Come out and fucking see it.
Yeah, but imagine being the guy that went, that's like, whacking, it's going to be shit. Imagine being the guy that's like, like a gatekeeper heavy metal guy that's like, I didn't go to the first wagon because I thought it was going to be shit. But who knows? It might,
See, if anyone says that to me, I'll say you had no faith in your own scene.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the first word, man. If you ever say, if anyone, I thought that was going to be shit, so you had no faith in your own scene in your own country. That's what you just said to me.
Yeah, I'm a massive power metal, like pretty much, thrash meadows is my, my nickname, and if it's not thrash metal or power metal, like you won't really hear me listening to a great deal of it. But at the same time,
I've listened to the Firestorm EP, and I understand.
Yeah. There's massive elements of like iced earth and all that sort of stuff in everything, pretty much everything that I do drumming wise. But like at the same time, people are like, I don't really like the lineup. If you don't like the lineup this year, but you want to come out and have a good time, just come and have a good time, because you may not like everything on the lineup this year.
You will find something.
But next year it might be everything up your alley. But if you don't support it, and if you don't and I'm not trying to drive ticket sales or anything like that, but I'm just the people that are sort of like, on the fence and that sort of stuff, you're coming out to the first ever Metal to the Max for the experience and camaraderie of the metal scene, and that's exactly what it is.
Buy a ticket. It's like a GoFundMe. Buy the ticket. It's a GoFundMe for the next festival.
Like, okay,
and you actually get something out of it.
Perfect example that perfect comparison that we can give is a festival that has taken place at least the last few years up a bit north of where I'm at in Queensland. It's at a smallish town called Jimna. It takes place on the Scout campsite up here. It's called Jimna Rocks, and again, multi-day camping festival, right? Bands get access on the Friday night to get in and set up their spots, and then everyone else can come in from the Saturday morning, and it's bands from midday through to midnight on Saturday and Sunday. Again, similar deal. It's on a long weekend. Yeah. There's food
all
trucks,
ages, BYO.
all ages, BYO, just the whole thing, right? And it's more rock focused than metal focused, but like same idea, right? Like everyone that's there has traveled a bit of a way to get there. Everyone's having a great time. Everyone's like, bands are kind of setting up in their own kind of like encampments, and then people are hanging out with different bands and going around to different stuff and things. And it's just, everyone has a great time. Everyone just gets along great. As you say, the camaraderie, the like the sense of community that we as people crave, that oftentimes can be lacking in, when you go to gigs that are smaller gigs, you don't necessarily get that kind of thing. An event like this is just that. It's an event. This is not a gig. This is not a festival. This is an event. This is a happening. This is a
Christmas.
Yeah, it's a backyard party with all your favorite fucking people, man.
He's got his red.
It's like,
hey, it's a backyard party with all your favorite peeps.
It's the kind of, as you say, it's the kind of event that really has a lot of potential to take off. And if you're even remotely interested in attending it, then it's something that it would be awesome to support. Yeah. It's a win to support. Like I said, we're heading out there. And I don't know if that's going to sell any tickets or drive people away. I'm not really sure, but like we'll be out there.
You can come and yell at us. You can come and tell us how shit we are.
Yeah, if you think we've got horrible
takes,
opportunity. If you think we've got horrible takes about everything that we talk about on the channel, and you want to come and yell at our face, this will be your opportunity to do that.
I'll film it.
So. All right, so look, let's. Well, I feel like we could talk about this forever, but we do have to keep this a reasonable length. We're going to have him back on again
after it's done. We're having you back on after.
We'll have a post-mortem for sure. So before we go home, before we take this one home, now look, I realise that Firestorm is more in, like you say, that thrash metal, power metal sort of genre. But you know, a question that we've decided that we want to try and answer on the podcast in the back half of this year is one that has we've discussed on and off for a little while now. Now, clearly you would be familiar with the big four of thrash metal. Yeah. We have decided we would like to try and come to some sort of consensus on the big four of nu metal. So we are asking all of our guests, everyone that cares to have an opinion on it, who they believe is the big four of the nu metal era. So not just necessarily nu metal bands, but bands to come from the era that is commonly described as nu metal. Basically, we're going to tally everyone's votes up and at the end of it and have a chart and then just do a video on all the results and everything. Probably announce it in our end of year live stream that we do. So, gentlemen, would you care to offer an opinion on who you believe the big four nu metal bands are?
You started off in a nu metal band. I started off in a punk band. You started off in a nu metal band.
Don't be like that. We're nu metal. I'm a nu metal fan. Don't be like that.
Look. So
Limp Bizkit, Korn.
Obviously, Limp Bizkit, Korn. I'm going to say Machine Head. So you had like the Burning Red.
Argue this fucking point.
Burn My Eyes. Even was it Supercharger?
Mm-hmm.
So like all that sort of stuff come out in the same era that you know, like a lot of the Korn and a lot of the Limp Bizkit albums and that did.
Yeah.
And I mean, just on that, even Linkin Park. But on that. So like to justify.
Look, they came into it a bit late, but they were probably the most influential.
To justify the Machine Head thing, I don't think you could go and talk to any nu metal fan and then say 10 Ton of Hammer, and I don't think they would say I've never heard it.
So, okay, funny story about Machine Head, right? Yeah, they obviously kind of had that era where they were very cringefully nu metal. You know, and I say that with all love. I'm a big fan.
We are.
But the main song that they had from that one, I always forget the name, but it's the one where it's like, time to see, believe this in me.
And he had cornrows.
And
he had the cornrows.
I had heard that song so many times, but I had never seen the film clip.
Yeah.
And then a few months ago, I just had stuff going on YouTube. I had like YouTube music going on my thing while I was in the kitchen, and the film clip came up for that. It was my first time seeing the film clip, and I was like, oh, boys.
Terribly nu metal.
Oh,
it was a different time, Raff.
So cringy. That was like the ultra cringe, try hard nu metal shit. I want to know. I love it.
Was it the tracksuit or the hand movements?
No, it was the PVC pants. It was the crouching and the hand stuff and this.
Sunk Lodo.
Yeah, look, Sunk Lodo were an Australian nu metal band.
Fuck man, this is going back.
Yeah.
Mudvayne.
Yeah.
Mudvayne. Freaking Cold Chamber.
Cold Chamber. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. And look, my whole theory was if you, and I want you to try.
Kitty, like that brackish song.
Yeah. See, I want you to try a little social experiment next time you're at the pub or with a bunch of metalheads, right? If you ask any person who are the big four of thrash, you will get 3 out of those 4, and one will always be different. And that's what we're finding with. Well, that's what we're finding with this.
Yeah, I can tell you, I'm not spoiling any of the results. But the things are extremely heavily weighted in favor of like 3 or 4 bands.
One is different.
I will, as a thrash metal head on that, I will die on this hill that Overkill or Testament deserve to be in the big 4 of thrash.
This is my fucking point. Who should be out?
More than what Anthrax do. Don't get me wrong, love Anthrax, but you know. They're not thrash metal. If we were doing the big 4 crossover, you'd have Suicidal Tendencies, Anthrax, DRI, and fucking something else. Like it's like having.
It's the same, and I mean, people.
It's like having Anthrax in the big 4 of thrash metal is like having Suicide Silence in the big 4 of fucking Tampa death metal.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, people, like you talk about this and you talk about the biggest thrash bands and stuff, and you have like. even like Exodus, you know, you could make an argument, right? Like it's just the stuff that is and this is exactly what we mean, right? There's like there's two that everyone says. Yeah. There's two that everyone says. And then there's like the third one. A lot of people.
Spoilers. It'd be the two that everyone says would be corn and biscuit.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Those are the top two.
They're the top two every time. But I will say it's surprising which other ones have had a lot of mentions or haven't had that many mentions as well. Like I think it's, you know, it's very curious, and I think part of it comes down to when people were exposed to certain bands and. You know, because for me, there's a lot of bands of that era that, you know, a lot of my friends at school, because that was really the only exposure I had with my friends at school, they either didn't know about or weren't really talking about, so I didn't find out about them, right? And then it wasn't until years later, like, you know, Mudvayne's a great example, right? Like no one that I went to school with really talked about them. I didn't really see them on any of the magazines or anything at the time, the ones I happened to come across. So they kind of flew under the radar for me until, you know, like the mid 2000s, right? And by that time, they were kind of already on a bit of the decline, I guess. Coming, you know, you know, and like what was it? They did like the new game basically in kind of the mid 2000s or whenever that one was, and it was, you know, a lot of, I mean, different style, but by then and everything, but you know, and
criteria, staying power.
Well, this is the thing. Like, it's literally just people's personal views on it. That's all we're asking. Yeah. Everyone's going to judge it a bit differently.
I mean, at the end of the day, it comes to.
But best believe, like when we're out there, and we're talking to the punters, we're out there. That's a question we're going to be asking them. We're going to go down the line of people waiting to get in, and we're going to be like, right, we just ask. Well, we've got a captive audience. We're going to ask them all the question, and just make sure
it does. Like with this resurgence of new metal, especially now. Like, and look, I have said, Machine Head do need a lot more credit in the new metal genre, because it was like they were sort of right at the back end of thrash and they were right at the beginning of the new metal. They were caught in this real weird crossover in between, but they have to be one of the most consistent bands.
Yeah.
When you look at them as a whole, they at one stage they toured 360 something days out of a year. Like I caught them at the back end of I caught them at the start of the tour in Australia, and then they toured the world, and then I caught them at the very last show and they finished in Australia at the Roundhouse. And that was the last night of a 360 something day tour. Like they are hands down one of the most consistent, and probably one of the most loved.
Yeah.
But we were ready to burn each other alive after fucking 9 days.
Yeah. Well, hey, and that's it, boys. Like, you know, if any of the bands that are coming out to this, if you haven't toured with your people before, this will test you.
Oh yeah.
This will test you. Be ready for that. But
I don't want to see any of those awkward group huddles after your set where you're all arguing and you're thinking about breaking up. No. Yeah. No. I've seen those group chats. Fuck them off.
So,
thank you so much for having us. Really
we're gonna have all the links to Lead Heavy and Firestorm and Metal to the Max. All that stuff's gonna be down in the description. We're gonna have the Spotify playlist, so if people want to check out the bands and get a taste of what they can expect, you can listen to that. It's going to be such a great time. Thank you very, very much to Ash and Tommo for joining us for this one. We really appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much to everybody for watching. I have been Reverend Raff. He has been Carl. That's been Ash and Tommo. You guys have been absolute legends, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace.